Hello, 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 and welcome back to part 2 of my 1-year Podversary episode, Why Earning More Money Requires a Mental Shift, with my great friend, Stacey Flowers. If you haven't listened to part 1, I strongly encourage you to stop this episode and go back and listen to part 1. Not only because it's good, but quite frankly, because if you don't, it's kind of like walking in on the middle of a conversation that you know nothing about and being completely lost. That's never any fun. So go back, listen to part 1, and we'll be here waiting for you for part 2. Now, if you've listened to part 1, today we will continue the conversation. Has this not been one of the best conversations about money, like ever? It's so good. Stacey is one of my friends that I talk about money to the most. I respect that most people are like pretty zipped up about finances and things like that, and I don't want to push the envelope, but I really love talking about numbers, big goals, lifestyle upgrades, like all the things. And it's yet another forbidden conversation. So, don't talk about religion, don't talk about politics, don't talk about sex, don't talk about money. And I'm like, nope. Nope. Let's talk about all of that. So I was so excited to have this conversation with her. So remember, go ahead and grab your water, get your notepad, and let's dive back into the mental shift that's required to earn more money. Hi there, I'm Achie, speaker, coach, and entrepreneur. I'm also a wife and mom to the Seans, my brilliant hubby, Sean Sr., and my vivacious toddler, Sean Jr. I am a perpetual student to this thing called life, and boy, has life taught me some lessons. What I absolutely love is helping you to identify and debunk the limiting beliefs that cause you to hide from your awesomeness. It's time to reprogram your thinking. So settle in, get comfy, and let's girl talk. Just you and me. This is the I Am Achie podcast.
So I have 2 more beliefs. I don't know how much more time we have, but I would say that these are the 2 beliefs that catapulted me like exponentially, right? So the last 3 beliefs were the ones that allowed money to come in consistently, allowed it to grow from the $800 a month back up to what I'm sort of used to, that right around like $2,500 to $5,000 a month, which is the average salary for an adult person in the U.S. Like those last 3 beliefs just allowed me to sort of restore an income level that I once had and get back up to average. These 2 beliefs, I believe, are the ones that shifted me from being in that average space financially to being in this exponential space of bringing in the $20,000 a month. So the first belief is overcoming the belief that money is ungodly or not of God. Like, had to do work there.
Man.
And then the second belief, and this is one that I got from my coach, is understanding that money is made up of both math and drama. I'm trying to state it in a limiting belief, but it's almost like I only know the lesson now. So when I talk about it, maybe the phrasing for the limiting belief will come up. But the first limiting belief, money is ungodly or not of God. The reason why this shifted everything in terms of like exponential like growth and income is because there was this idea that if you look at my videos, the way that I focus on money, the way that I talk about money, I had to rebuild a loving relationship with money. I had to build a healthy relationship with money. And it was very counter to what I was taught, like as a kid growing up with the scripture, the love of money is the root of all evil. It's like, that's the scary, like when you hear that, you're like, oh, I shouldn't love money. But then when you're living your life, you're like, but I kind of am loving it.
And it's necessary.
Right. And it's like, I'm loving what money is able to do. I'm loving the comfort. Like, and so there was so much shame and guilt around the adoration that I had for the amounts of money that were coming in. And I was just guilt stricken with like, okay, you are falling in love with money and that is unhealthy. And that's going to teeter you into this space that's going to make you unsafe. And you're going to be humbled by God. And so like, all of these, like waiting for the other shoe to fall and waiting to be struck down because my relationship with money was now healthy, because ultimately what that limiting belief gave me was an unhealthy relationship with money, right? It was like, money is ungodly. And it immediately in my mind created this idea that like, if you have a lot of money, you won't have a lot of God.
Right.
And
oh my God.
There was a threat, like I think probably around my first $10,000. I tell you, I was praying. I was like, whoo, I just want you to know, Lord, I was so afraid that
I choose you, God, not this 10,000. Right?
I was so afraid that I was going to lose God. Yeah. And what happened is what I realized is part of the thing that came up for me, and I don't know if this is for other people, is that once I got my money together, it's going to sound bad, but hear me out. Once I got my money together, I didn't need to pray to God about things. And so I could understand why people think you lose God when you get money. Because, for example, I stopped praying about helping me with my rent, and I just did my budget and paid it. I stopped praying for a windfall. I stopped praying for things associated with my finances. And I did not know prior to getting to this place of earning money how much of my relationship with God revolved around money or the lack thereof. So when it was taught to me that having more money would interrupt my relationship with God, they left out the part that my relationship with God shouldn't be based on money.
Right. And it actually deepens.
It deepened my relationship with God, because it's like, before it was like, well, go to God, he'll make a way out of no way. When you don't got it, he'll provide the provision, and it'll show. Like, so much of my relationship with God was about him bringing more money in my life. Even when I was praying about my purpose, it's like, oh, make my purpose profitable, God. Like, it wasn't just about, God, why did you create me? What am I designed to do? What would you have me do with my day? No, it was like, what would you have me do with my day so I can make enough money to be able to pay these bills? Like, that is what my prayer focused on. And so once I started to manage my money and my money got together and I could easily pay my bills, what actually happened for me is, instead of going to God about money, I went to God about life. And I wholeheartedly believe that that's what I should be going to God about, is my life, this gift that he has given me and what I should be doing with that. But I didn't know that at first, because when I hit that first 10K, I was like, ooh, there's no God in me. It's like, I ain't talked to him in a week. I don't need anything. And it's just like, I went from this really needy relationship with God to this like mutual relationship. They use the example of the father and son often. It's just like, it was a relationship of conversation and reciprocity and revelation. Like, getting financially stable allowed me to be able to hear God tell me what to do, what not to do, where to move, where not to move, who to talk. Like, it deepened the relationship so significantly, because we weren't stuck on the superficial things of my money. But I was terrified, because I felt it. I mean, there's a level of money that comes into your life where you literally do not pray anymore about the stuff that you prayed about, because you can afford to just take care of it. Like,
right, there's no need. Right.
If I get sick, I'm not praying about that. I'm going to go to the doctor. If I'm hungry, I'm not praying about, I'm going to go to the store and get some food. And so I had to acknowledge that my relationship with God revolved heavily around money, whether it was about money and purpose, like lifestyle and money, like that was what my relationship revolved around. And I had to next level my relationship with God and make my relationship with God independent of my relationship with money. And doing that allowed me to focus on my money, grow my money, build a healthy relationship with it, so that way it did not impede the health and the depth of it, that I have with God. And then things started to really
level your relationship with God. That is good. Listening to you tell this story, it reminds me of, like, I think about even my son. He's 3.5, he'll be 4 this year. And I think about, even with him still being a toddler, like the things that he does not come to me about anymore, right? Like before, it's like, okay, I'm hungry and I need you to feed me, or, I was nursing, so I need some milk, or I need this, or I need that, or I want to play. Can you get the toys for me? It's like every level that he grows, it's like our relationship deepens and he doesn't ask about the same things. And it's like he up levels it himself because now you don't have to ask me for the toys. You just go get the toys because you know they're there. You don't have to ask me. I'm like, give you your food. You're not asking me to feed you. You're like, oh, I don't need to ask that. I'm going to feed myself because you have shown me how to feed myself. So actually it'd be foolish of me to keep coming back to you saying, but could you feed me again? Could you feed me again? It's like, no, I've already shown you and given you the tools on how to do that. So here you go.
Right.
And we can get caught up there, Stacey. And I'm glad you brought that up because especially with our relationship, I talk about that too on this podcast, like God and the limiting, a lot of my limiting beliefs and the way that I live my life was because of this box of religion and this box of what I should and should not be doing and how my relationship with God should and should not be and how that held me back in so many areas of my life. And a lot of people don't relate what you just said with money and God. And if I have too much money, then I'm going to lose some of God and so used to the scarcity mindset that it's like that you have connected scarcity with your relationship with God and you don't even know it.
And you don't even know it. You don't even know it. And you are afraid of that transition. I was afraid of that transition. I'm like, well, if I can do this by myself, then what do I go to God for? And he was like, yeah. You should be coming to me for other, like
for grown people.
I didn't
stuff, daughter.
Right, like I didn't make you to come to me for your financial woes, but so many people, right, like that is a dominant thing that we turn to God for, even just to turn to God in crises. So yeah, that was a big one that helped me to skyrocket. And then I would say the final belief, and I don't know how to say this in a limiting belief, but the upgraded belief is that money. When it comes to money, and this is something that my coach brought to my attention, there is math and then there's drama. And essentially what that means is like, when you hear something like, oh, well, this person made $20,000 a month, immediately what most people go into is whatever their drama is. It's like, oh, that ain't possible. She ain't gonna be able to do that again. Oh, what she do? Is she like all of your thoughts about, well, how is that possible? Then when I say, okay, well, I made $20,000 in a month and I work part-time, it's like, oh, okay, all right. All of that is drama. And all of that, like when you hear that number, $20,000 a month working part-time, whatever thoughts come up, that is your drama that's blocking you from being able to see the math. Because the math of $20,000 a month, for example, is 10 clients who paid me $1,000. That's the math. That I literally could work with 10 people this month and make $20,000. You could work with 10 people this month who paid you $1,000 and make 20 people, my bad. 20 people.
Or 10 people who pay you $2,000, yeah.
Right? And so it's like what happens is so many people get lost in the drama of like, nobody I've ever known ever made that. That's impossible. I can't do it. They get lost in the drama that they never just sit down to do the math. What is the math? The math is 10 people at $2,000, 20 people at $1,000, 30 people at, right? Like just do the math. What math is soothing for you to be able to reach this particular goal? If you wanted to make, so for example, like if you are a new speaker, let's say, and you're like, okay, I want to make, $20,000. Okay, you need 20 speaking engagements at $1,000, or you need 10 speaking engagements. It's just like all the money that you want to make can be broken down mathematically. And when you look at the math, it's like the drama just falls out of it. And you're like, oh, that's just 10 clients. That's just 20 people. Out of the whole United States of America, I only need 20 people in my coaching program in order to make. It's like, oh, okay. Because when you first hear like, oh, so like my coaching goal is $250,000. And so my coaching program is $50 a week. I want to have, and it's the group coaching program. I have one-on-one coaching that's premium, but group coaching, right? So it's $50 a week. And my service goal is 1,000 people that I'm coaching a week. If I coach 1,000 people at $50 a week, that is $50,000 a week. Now, my revenue goal for this year is $250,000. I am very aware that I only need a few weeks to hit that revenue goal, but I still have drama about that. So even though I know my math, right? Even though I know 1,000 clients at $50 a week is $50K a week, you need 5 weeks, you'll hit your revenue goal. So in 5 weeks, technically, I should be at $250,000. But with the limiting beliefs, and I don't know if the drama is just the aspect of the limiting belief. That's what I'm saying. I don't know how to state this in a limiting belief, but this is the belief that I upgraded to that helped me to be able to grow exponentially, because I was like, okay, what's your math? I always do I'm like, what do you want to make? What's your math? And then deal with your drama. So I want to make $250,000. I want to service 1,000 people each week. It's $50 a week. I know that that's 5 consecutive weeks at $50K. What drama comes up? The drama that comes up for me is like, oh, does my website have the capacity? I think I'm going to need a team of 10 people. They should probably get a PD. Like all of that drama. Right. Only reason why I am not making $50,000 a week, because I have all of these other thoughts that tell me I need to have this, and this. But the truth of the matter is money is more math than it is drama. The math of that money is just this. And when you can wrap your mind around the math, you can make whatever you want to make whenever you want to make it. And you can make it quick, right? I can make $250,000 in 5 weeks if I can get through my drama. And that's where the whole limiting belief, and that's why I love your work and your work as a coach, because that's where the limiting belief work comes in. So like I don't know if it's okay to share this with your community, but like one of the limiting beliefs that you and I are working on with you coaching me is men and money, right? So I have an issue. I don't know why I said it that way, but I have an issue with like the idea of having a man like adore me and love me into eternity, and also making a crap ton of money. I have an issue with that. And so that is a part of my drama when I think about my coaching program that's going to make $50,000 a week, and I'm going to service 1,000 people. And I know I can serve 1,000 people at one time, because I can do an Instagram live and 1,000 people can be on my Instagram live. Don't hesitate. Don't even bat an eye. I'm like, but let me put them in a coaching program where they pay $50. I'm like, oh my God. Oh, or your YouTube, Stacey. Or my YouTube, right? Like 1,000 people in 10 minutes will watch a video. Don't hesitate. No drama about that. But 1,000 people in my coaching program, and I'm like, oh my God, do I have the capacity? So that drama is there, but also tucked inside of that drama is, okay, Stacey, but are you going to be able to have a man if you make $50,000 a week? Right. So then I escalate all the other drama to justify my fear of this limiting belief being able to kick in. And it's just like, obviously I've done a lot of work up to this point to even allow myself to make $20,000, but it's just like the belief that like, you know, it's hard to make money, or money is difficult, or I'm just somebody who doesn't understand money. It's like, no. Money is just math and drama. When you focus more on the math than you do your drama, you will have more money, period, point blank.
But even listening to you talk about that, like you just revealed some beliefs that you have, limiting beliefs you have around the next level. So it's okay. It's good. So this is good. This is perfect, actually, because we talked about what you worked through, and you're mentioning what you are currently working through as you go to the next level, which is what I talked about in the beginning of the episode. We believe that when people make any money that's beyond what we make, that their life is perfect, that everything is just happy-go-lucky, butterflies and rainbows all the time. There's no issues. Why would you have issues? You're making money. Like, that is the biggest lie ever told.
Such a lie. Like, I'm trying to have all this money and have a man. That's intense. Like, it is a very, like, that is not a thing. Like, there's so many limiting beliefs, like, you know, he has to make more and he has to this. It's like,
well, and what society has told us.
Yeah. Right. So there's a part, and I was explaining this to Achie, you know, last week when we were talking and kind of coaching through it. I was like, yeah, you know, I shut down the flow of my money. Like, I'm still making great money, but last month, the amount of money that flows into my income in my bank account, I did not have as much flow last month, and I don't like that. I would like my flow to stay at a steady certain amount. Now, the way that I compensate myself, obviously, you know, I have, you know, different vendors and stuff like that pay at different times. And I set myself to a salary, so I'm able to pay my salary no matter what. But I still look at the flow of money in my life. And so, you know, as I mentioned at the beginning, you know, I'm dating and stuff like that. And so, you know, there's, you know, men are circulating. And so I'm like, oh man, you know, as I'm leaning into this man love and joy, I am unconsciously shutting down the flow of money because I have a limiting belief about men and money that Achie is helping me work through. Because it's like, I want both and, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But
and you can't have
I have
both
to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, okay. And I can have both, but I have to be willing to do the work to get to both. Because if I don't do this work, one thing will happen. I won't let myself make more than 20K because I'm already freaked out about the 20K with regards to this whole men and money thing. I won't let myself make that. But if I don't let myself make that, obviously I'm not letting myself live into my full capacity. So even if I end up with the man, it's not going to be, what I want it to be relative to like the dreams and the desires that I have, because I'm stifling myself because of my own drama. Right. And we got to clean all that up. Like all of our drama conditioning. Our conditioning, our culture, our community, like that is where your drama comes from. What were you conditioned to believe? What does your culture tell you? And what is the community around you expressing and talking about? And as my income has grown, my communities have shifted, and it's intense entering into these new communities. But it's 100% worth it. I would say that, like, for however difficult it is getting to this space and being in this place, I would say that it's worth it for the quality of life that I have now. And that's something that I remind myself in the moments when the emotions are difficult and hard, is that this is literally the life that I prayed for. My son can call me while he's in college and ask for anything. When we were decorating his dorms and we literally could go to Target, we went to like 4 stores because he wanted these lights that he wanted to put on the perimeter of his thing, just to be able to decorate my son's dorm without regard for, or if I decorate his dorm, then I'm not going to be able to get him clothes, or I'm not going to, like, I have to, it's like,
or your bills aren't going to get paid. Yeah.
To be in that position of being able to buy my son these very specific lights that he wants, like these lights, and they connect with his iTunes or whatever, and like twinkles to the beat. I was like, whatever you want, like, that is the quality of life that I dream of, being able to decorate my son's dorm. Do I need 6 figures to be able to do that? No. But does it help having 6 figures? Absolutely. Because now when he's talking, I can send him care packages every month. There's not a lack experience that he's going to have with respect to his collegiate life. And that was a dream of mine, to be able to provide that for him.
Even his quality of life is different, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. When I think about the quality of the food that I get to eat and how that impacts my overall health, the quality of the people that I get to put around me who help me to stay healthy, whether it's my coach, which hire a coach, everybody needs a coach, whether it's my coach or it's my therapist or it's my trainer. It's like, because I have these resources, I'm able to experience a quality of life that I wouldn't trade, which is the reason why I'm willing to do the work to sift through the limiting beliefs that would otherwise shut all this down.
Oh my gosh, Stacey.
So
good, my God. And as you're talking and you're just naming these things and your quality of life, the things you're able to do, and the food you're able to eat, and the places you're able to go, and all the things that you're able to experience now, it started because you decided to work on the way you see things and the way you think. That is literally our whole life. Like the quality of life that you are wanting, what you see for yourself, the future that you desire, starts in your mind. It does not start at a 100%. Job. It does not start at a business. It does not start in a relationship. It starts in your mind, period.
This is the reason I'm grateful that I started my journey at the beginning, because what I hope that people see when they watch it, I hope they can see my mind, right? Yeah. I hope they can see the mind and the thinking that I was doing that reflects where I'm at now from where I was. I hope that when people look at those videos, they're like, oh, it's really her mind. Like one of my most popular videos was my grocery hauls. I would do $50 a month grocery hauls, and I would still shop at Whole Foods, and people would be like, you shouldn't be shopping there. You should be shopping here.
How dare you?
My mind was like, whether it's $50 or $500, I'm going to get the highest quality that I can afford. That is a mindset. Yeah. And your mindset is shaped by your beliefs, and people do not understand. If you want to know what you believe, look at your life. That is what you believe. You want to know what you believe about money? Look at your checking account. Look at your savings account. Look at inside your purse. You want to know what you believe about health and fitness? Look at your body. You want to know what you believe about food? Look in your cupboard. You want to know what you believe about relationships, marriage? Look at your life is a reflection of what you believe, period. And the second that I decided to change what I believe, and the inspiration point for me was me getting to my sick and tired moment. I was like, how in the world can I not afford my own personal feminine hygiene products in this moment? Like, coming from where I came from, because I had hit a pinnacle of success, and then suddenly I had to ask for the money to be able to get my monthly feminine. I'm like, you knew this was coming. This ain't your first. No, like, you are not prepared. How are you not prepared, right? Yeah. Like, how are you not prepared for this? And when I saw myself not be prepared for that level of my life, I said, oh, you got to, there's something wrong. And at that moment, I was willing to do away with everything that I had ever been taught about money in order to overcome ever being in that circumstance again. And that willingness to be a beginner, that willingness to be a student, that willingness to listen wholeheartedly and say, they have to know something that I don't know, because I'm sitting up here in a month with something that comes regularly, and I am not prepared. And I am not a fully grown woman. Right. And I'm not prepared. There ain't no way I shouldn't be prepared for that. And so for me, that was my moment. For some people, it's the moment that you realize that Christmas comes every year, but every year you're surprised. It's the moment that you pay attention to the fact that you get the same amount in taxes and it goes out. Like, there are moments when our finances will be looking us in the face, and we have to say, is this the person that I want to be? Do I want to be somebody who cannot afford this thing in my life? Do I want to be somebody who is ill prepared for that? And I said, I don't want to ever be that person again. And because of that, every single belief that prevented me from getting here, I was like, no, I don't care that everybody in my family works hard. I no longer work hard. I don't, I was willing to release it. I don't care that peers of mine teach people to work hard. I don't care. I won't. That's not the fly. Like, I was willing to stand in that space alone so that I could get here. And a lot of people, with respect to their limiting beliefs, whatever the area, whether it's relationships, money, body, you're not willing to stand in the space for a little bit alone just so you can get to where you want to go, because everything in your life right now is a reflection of what you believe, period.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Stacey. I'm taking more deep breaths. This is so good. My gosh, you guys. Man, I'm sitting here listening to you, and I'm like, I am going to be listening to this podcast multiple times. Like, I know I am. It like the stuff that you share, like, it's my God, like, it just hits on all levels, on all cylinders. My God, it's so good. And that's it. It's what you think. It's what you think. And when you said that you got to the point of realizing I can't afford my personal hygiene items, and this comes every single month, and I'm never going to be here again, and I'm going to make sure I never see this moment again. You didn't say, let me go get 15 jobs. No, you said, because it didn't work. I know exactly. I know that model already, and that doesn't work. It didn't work. I have like, how many times does it have to fail you? Yeah. How many times does that have to fail you before you say, "Oh, what I was doing got me here. That's why I'm here." That's how that
works. Right. I was willing to let it all go.
The boldness. I talk about that a lot. Being bold, being audacious, being courageous, like being okay with thinking different and saying different and believing different, like no matter what anyone says. Because I remember, Stacey, oh my gosh, I remember like when you first started your journey, and even, I believe I went back to some old videos that I was sharing with you. I think I took a screenshot before, and I'm like, Stacey, look at how far you've come, because seeing your screenshots, and like, because you were sick during that time, you were still sharing and still like just pouring into the people. And I would see some comments when you were making like $800 a month, or you like we're doing incremental upgrades, and people were like, "Oh, she's not going to be able to do that," or "There's no way she's making that much. Oh, she's just lying. She's a scam." Like whole forums created about the scam of Stacey Flowers, and I'm like, you guys have no clue what this woman is working on. And just to go to your point of being okay with seeing people say that, hearing people's feedback, and standing alone and being bold enough to say, this is what I believe. This is what I know does not work. It does not serve me. So I don't care what anybody says. I'm going to work on this for me. And you're going to get a front row seat and see. And now, look, now your people are saying, my God, I remember when.
Yeah. And they're saying, I remember when, and I can see why you're here. Because they're like, I remember when, and I remember when, and it makes total sense that this is where you are right now. And that's something that I love. I like how you just said, I am willing to release anything that's not serving me. I think that that's the best way to eliminate or let go of a belief, is to release it. Like, be willing to just, anything that doesn't serve you, like, it doesn't matter where the belief came from. Does it serve you? That is the question. Like, does this belief about money that I'm going to retire from working for my job, does that serve you? If it serves you, keep it. If it doesn't, leave it and go find another belief, because it's just what you're thinking. It's just what you're thinking.
And I think that's a big thing, because even if something served you before, and I talk a lot about that, if it served you before, can we get quiet enough and aware enough to say, okay, maybe 5 years ago, this is perfect for me. Like, okay, an example we'll talk about quickly. When you work as a barista, and it's like, okay, that served you for that season. And then they want to promote you. And you're like, okay, I know I'm going into another season. So because I know I'm going into another season, the average person will say, well, they want to promote you because you're doing great work. It's time to be promoted. But when you're aware enough to say, I'm going into another season of my life and this is no longer serving me, I have to be real about where I'm going.
But a part of the reason I was able to make that decision is because I was aware of that, but also I had already suspended the belief that my source of income comes from my paycheck. So I wasn't even looking to the job to give me more money. I'm like, no, this is the money that I'm enjoying from you. So to promote me and give me more money isn't going to serve me, because I am fully aware that not all of my money is going to come from this source. So there's no reason for me to continue to go up in this particular place. But if I didn't have that belief, if my belief was still my money comes from my paycheck, of course I'm going to take the promotion. Of course that's the next right choice. But that belief would have been limiting my capacity to become an entrepreneur and do what I've done over here.
Right. You know? Based on, exactly. Be an entrepreneur, do what you're doing based on what you want to do. Because there are some people who are listening where they work jobs and they're fine with that. And that's what they're looking for, the next promotion. But again, what serves you, and what served you was to say, that's not what I choose to do.
And here's the thing. It's a lot of people will look at my journey and they'll be like, oh, well, she did it because she's an entrepreneur. Listen here, that's a limiting belief, because there are tons of people who work a traditional job, 9 to 5, regular salary increases, the cap percentages, and they are still making a crap ton of money. They have a crap ton of money saved. They manage it differently than me, but do not let yourself be tricked into a sneaky limiting belief of like, oh, that's possible for her because she's an entrepreneur. No, this that I'm doing is possible for everyone.
It's possible because you decided.
Because you decided, I decided. Obviously, you're going to have to shift around your beliefs, but I don't want to install a limiting belief that only entrepreneurs can have this sort of exponential growth. No, not a thing. You can be working for someone and still experience this exponential growth. For me, it comes back to the management of money. And most people just aren't willing to manage their money long enough to figure out how it grows.
I'm so thankful that you took time out of your day, your schedule to do this with me. I want to mention your YouTube channel because that is the place where you are documenting your financial journey, and you do your financial budget every month live. So you literally, she puts the camera over her shoulder and she shows her viewers every month live how she is managing her money. So if maybe you don't know how to manage money, or maybe it's not a favorite thing of yours, or you just never really been taught, because that's a big thing too, just not, being taught how to manage it properly, right? And if that is your story, she takes you through it every single month. The videos are there. You can go back as far as, how many years has it been at this point for you with YouTube?
Since 2018. I think the first video was November of 2017, but 2018, 2019, 2020, yeah.
Yeah. So over 3.5. Yeah, like 3.5 years. So there's plenty of content there for you to consume, and just her talking about the mindset around that. And it's so good. It's so good. So Stacey, will you please tell people where else they can find you?
Yes, I am Stacey Flowers all over the internet, and that is STACEY. So whether it's YouTube or Instagram or my website, it'll be Staceys Flowers. And to Achie's point, the best place to sort of see me documenting that journey is on my YouTube channel. If you want to see a little bit more of my daily life and how I live and do things on a daily basis, there's a little bit more of my Instagram content. And then if you're interested in coaching, that is available as well. It's on my site at www.staceysflowers.com.
Yes. I'm so excited about that coaching program. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Okay, so this is great, Stacey. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much. I'm telling you, I am going to be listening. I'm telling you, I'm going to listen to this like multiple times. Because sometimes I actually listen to my own podcast. I mean, you do so many episodes and then you go back and listen like, oh, okay, that's, you have to refresh yourself on what you believe and what you teach, yourself. So I am all about going back listening to episodes that I've done. So I am definitely going to go back and listen to this. So thank you so much, Stacey. It's been amazing.
You're welcome.
And we will chat next time.
I am so thankful to Stacey for having this conversation with me. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did. And before I end today's episode, I would like to just take a brief moment to say thank you. It has been 1 year at this point now, 1 year, 1 week. But it's been a whole year. And as I mentioned in the episode with Stacey, this was just a secret idea, a secret desire in my heart that just came to me one day as I was lying down in bed. And we have these ideas and these visions of what we want to do and what we want to accomplish. And sometimes we wonder, will anybody benefit from it? Will anyone listen? Will this make sense to anybody other than me? Like, those are the questions you ask yourself. And as I've mentioned in other podcasts, I don't have a fancy podcast studio. I record these in my closet, because it absorbs all the sound, because I'm looking at all my clothes. All my clothes are here to absorb the sound. And as I'm sitting here just looking at clothes and jewelry, you can't imagine that your words are being heard in over 27 nations. Like, I look at the stats and I see that in a year, 27 nations have listened to my podcast. And I'm thankful. I'm happy. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little surprised. I mean, you want people to listen to your content all over the world. That is what you want. But then you actually see it and you're like, oh, wait, whoa, really? Like, Saudi Arabia? Really? Really? How did you find little old me, I said all that to say thank you. I am so grateful. I do not take this for granted. For those of you who listen every week, for those of you who pop in here and there, for those of you who this is your first time listening, thank you. I don't take any of it for granted. Because if I can just speak something to you, yes, you who's listening, that will help shift your perspective, look at something a little bit different. Even if you just say, that's interesting. Like, if you do that one time during any of my podcasts, my mission is accomplished. And I cannot tell you the amount of gratitude that boils over that you take time out of your schedule, away from your family and your job and whatever it is that you're doing, to listen to my voice and to listen to the words that I have to say and the thoughts that are in my mind and the perspective that I have. Some things I share are pretty controversial. I understand that. It goes against a lot of what we've been taught. And that is the purpose, to identify and debunk the limiting beliefs that cause you to hide from your awesomeness. Those limiting beliefs are causing you to hide. They're causing you not to show up as you want to be. Who you want to be in your mind sometimes is not congruent with who you actually are. And you got to tackle it. And you can't be afraid to. And if the very first step is listening to my content, you're on your way. You're on your way. So again, I'm so thankful. I am so thankful. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And I do not take it lightly that you listen to my podcast and that you share it, that you comment, that you send me messages. If there was another word other than thankful and grateful and appreciative, my God, I wish there was a deeper word that I could use to describe the fullness that I feel that it's been a year. And the best is yet to come. The best is definitely yet to come. This is only the beginning. I have some amazing resources coming for you all this year. Actually, within the next month or so, I have some things coming up to further assist you in your journey with your mindset. So remember to feel free to connect with Stacey. I have all of her links in the show notes, as well as the link to her weekly coaching program. That is in the show notes as well. I don't know if she's already gotten that started, but she has a wait list going. So if she's already gotten it started, so just get on her wait list and someone will be in contact with you, but it is well worth it. Like, Stacey's is on another level, and I so appreciate our friendship, but I also appreciate her work and what she does in the world. Besides us being friends, her work has helped me tremendously. The way she thinks, the way she communicates things, it has helped me tremendously. And it is such a blessing to have such an amazing and profound friend that can help elevate you, right? And for us to be able to speak into each other's lives and just grow and learn and expand and all the things. So all of that information is in the show notes. Guys, if my content is helpful for you and you enjoy it and you would like to support my work, I will always say yes to a cup of coffee. That link will be in the show notes as well. And remember that I love you, I see you, and I want you to win. Thank you for spending my 1-year podversary with me, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye for now. I know firsthand how challenging this personal development journey can be. It can feel lonely, confusing, overwhelming, and even difficult to know exactly where to start. That is why I created an amazing resource for you. Go to imachie.com to download a free audio training that discusses the top 2 things you should focus on as you begin or continue your journey to shifting your mindset. Yep, only 2 things. I like to keep it simple and actionable. Again, that's imachie.com. And also, if you enjoyed today's episode, I have a favor to ask of you. My goal is to get this podcast in front of as many women as possible. The things I discuss are the things I wish someone would have told me when I began this journey. So in order to do that, please take a few seconds to share this episode with a friend and leave a 5-star review. Don't forget to subscribe so you can get notified when I release new episodes. I love you, I see you, and I'm rooting for you. Bye for now.